Hello, everybody. On behalf of Team KPIS, I take the privilege to introduce Professor DP Agrawal, sir. Are you all excited for his session? I'm equally excited. Exactly 80 years after Gandhiji's birth, a boy was born on 2nd of October 1949. Hailing from rural India, backed up with strong family ethos, he grew up as an active kid. His teachers in 4th and 5th standard had a profound impact on him. He left no stone unturned to utilize his abilities to the fullest. From being a student at Indian Institute of Technology to becoming the professor, dean at IIT, his journey is inspirational. From being a member to becoming the chairman of UPSC, he is an example of a man with honesty, integrity in thoughts and actions. He has initiated major reforms and improvements in civil services examination, which impacted every student giving UPSC across the country. His reforms include introduction of aptitude tests in the UPSC recruitment process, introduction of e-governance initiatives at UPSC, including online application process for recruitment. He is an example of perseverance, confidence, and self-belief that there's nothing one cannot achieve. Today, he will share with us nuances of UPSC and his life lessons. So students, please put your hands together to welcome DP Agrawal, sir.
You all are aware that I spent quite a long years in the commission, being its member, to be chairman for the maximum number of years. Though it's not a credit separately, but yes, the only engineer to be the chair of the UPSC. So I'm like you, an academic who occupied the best positions in the country. There's a disbelief that in UPSC only bureaucrats become chairman. That's not the practice. Senior most member become chairman, whosoever it is. UPSC is a constitutional body. All of you know it. You also know the constitution paras which define the PSC. Article? Anybody? 315 onward till 323. Is that correct? So this gives you what a commission would do, how the members are chosen, what are their responsibilities, and within their responsibility also indicated that they will remain with the highest standard of ethics and honesty, unbiasedness, and no support to anybody beyond a point. So we are, and if you therefore look at the way my mind worked. Of course, I learned as my younger days when I was growing that there is no substitute for working hard. If you have to be the one chosen one, if you want to achieve your goals, goals are your goals. So first question each of you should ask before you appear in civil service, is it your goal? It could be a goal which your parents have dreamt. It could be a goal which your other friends are telling. But until and unless it becomes your own goal, you are not wedded to it. Is that clear? So if your parents ask you, you will appear in exam, and I also give an example how disastrous it can be. But your heart will not be there. An example is a very sorry example I am quoting. It was 2009-10, one boy committed suicide by hanging in Bangalore. nearby. I don't know whether you remember it. Is the day when exam results have come. Result normally come in the evening. I had gone back home. National press was depicting the boy's death, in also saying it's because of UPSC that has been done. UPSC is so merciless, the competition is so tough that he committed suicide. I came back in the morning, looked in the office, the records. And now the story starts. This boy has appeared 4 times earlier, was not successful. 5th time, he did not appear, but told parents that he has applied. Parents were from middle class, lower. They would know the nuances, hinterland. When the date of exam came, he came to Delhi and said he is taking center in Delhi. So every time he'll come to Delhi, tell parents that he's going to interview, going to meet, and all that. But actually his name was never there. It is an example when, if it is not your goal, if it is a goal set by others, you are pushed to the wall and we don't meet the aspirations, you commit that kind of problem. So young death occurred because this boy was not wanted to become an IAS. I give another example. When I was a professor in IIT, you know IIT JEE exam? How many of you know? It is tougher than even civil service. You all know the best student appear and again 3,000-4,000 are selected. Students come for counseling. It was years when I was still in IIT, 70s. The parents come and ask what subject the child should choose. At that time, computer science, if you take, you will go abroad. So question parent asked, in which subject he can go US? And since he was very high ranker in IIT JEE, if he was 80, which is very, very high rank, he could choose anything which he wants. He wanted to do physics. He told me as a counselor, sir, I want to do physics. I listened to parents, I listened to him, told the parents the choice. Parent overpowered the boy. And he filled to computer science. He was admitted to IIT Delhi in computer science. And he failed that year, in the first year. Because his heart was not there. So one of the key points in civil services, is it your goal? How many will put your hand here and see it is your true goal? Now, once you think it is a goal, you should know the background in which you want to set up a goal. Merely by saying, look at a conductor or somebody doing a red light on the car, it looks very rosy. But the journey is difficult. It's not easy. And I am told, I understand that you have looked at the gazette notification which UPSC brings about this exam. Have you read that gazette notification? What does it give you? It gives you who can appear. And that requirement is that you must be a graduate of any subject. Degree which is recommended, degree which is accepted by UGC. There could be other nomenclature of a degree which may not be accepted by the. There are colleges in universities in the country which are running certain courses, particularly the private, which are not approved by UGC. UPSC will not accept. So there is a huge list of 360, 380 degrees on UGC website. So each of you must check whether your graduation falls into that category. You have to ascertain that. That's number one. The age is also given. You must be 21 years on a particular month in a given year. So even if you are final year, and on that day you will become 21, you can appear. So that means the boys and girls who are age of 20 in their final year can easily appear for 20%. Correct? The third is that every year about 11 to 12 lakh people apply to appear in civil service. Are you aware of this figure? Out of this, 50% actually appear in the prelim. It is important to note that once you write even one paper in prelim, go there inside the hall, your attendance is marked, it is counted as one attempt. Okay? Previously it was like if you have attempted all, then your attempt, but we changed it because there was a lot of confusion. We must know who are the people who are taking repeated chances. So it is important that you are deciding to appear, you are competing with 6 lakh people. These are serious students. So imagine across the country, it is not syllabi of Andhra Pradesh or Telangana or Uttar Pradesh. It is a syllabi which is covered in the syllabus of all India basis, mainly by best of the universities of the country. Have you seen the syllabi? Syllabi is consisting of the top 5, 6, 10 universities which are top in the country. We look at them. Graduation subject syllabi. So you have to now compare that in the university you are, that the syllabi you studied, did it challenge you? In a university examination, for example, if you are connected to Swania, paper in history, maybe 10,000 appear, all can pass and can move ahead. But in civil service exam, only 1,000 will be selected, less will be left. So it is not that you cannot qualify your paper, but it is that with respect to you, how the other has done well. Never there with you, was it? Until unless you have appeared any competitive exam. So how many of you have appeared any competitive exam? Any competitive exam? Nobody? Somebody appeared in JEE, can raise hand? No. Anybody for any other test, bank exam? All of first time. First time can also be those. If they are engineers, some of them are qualified in JEE or state exam. Now you know the difference. When you appear in a competitive exam, you know what is the difference between the exam of the university and a competitive exam. University exam is meant to judge your capability in that subject, regard to education and your growth in education. Or if you are selected, for example, I am a mechanical engineer. If I apply to a mechanical engineering vacancy, I am chosen as a mechanical engineer, then my knowledge of mechanical engineering is required. But the competitive examination is meant for you to select to work on that place. If you want to become an IS, IS is a generalist service where you are given different departments. So specialization is not required. So your knowledge about the country, your understanding of international relations, your communication skills, your thinking, your new ideas are more important. Your decision making. You may not be a great mechanical engineer, you may not be a great physicist, but you can become a good bureaucrat. So learning for competitive exam is so different than the university. So before you set your goal, how do you set a goal then? You think in your university, the other option is, if in your university, I am not saying it's important, but it is relevant. Because UPSC says any graduate pass can appear. But if you look at the profile of people who have been selected, particularly first and second and third attempt, you will not find many who are below 60%. Very rare. Now 60% is not a number that way. What 60% mean? That in a given university, if you are regular in studies, if you continuously understand what is being taught, assimilate it, and can reproduce, only then you will get better marks. So those who can work hard, those who can understand early, those who can comprehend, and those who can reproduce. So when setting goal, you have to look at, is this your strength? You must look at what is your strength. If I have to study regularly for university exam 2 hours, for exam like civil service, you require 5 hours. How many actually you have before deciding civil service? Have you studied more than 2 hours per day? Nobody? One? Raise hands. Honestly raise. I have a lot of data, so don't worry. This number has to be 2%. So this change itself, that suddenly I am required to study 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, and associated fatigue and difficulty, that is a consideration for your goal. Your father says you appear, but he doesn't know that to study something which is so different, it is not what you are studying in university. It is much different. It is talking about history, geography, political science, social science, science, bit of mathematics, arithmetics, everything on earth, which you have done in your 10+2, but you have forgotten because you had not decided that early. It's not easy. In middle class parents to which we belong, wants their child to go to university and get a job. Am I wrong or right? Every parent wants that when you graduate, your route must be clear, that either you're doing PG and teaching, you're doing PG or research, you're doing professional course, or so one such requirement the people themselves have raised. So today you find out of the whole list of 6 lakhs, at least 60% are those who have qualified professional exams. Am I right, sir? Out of 6 lakhs, 3 lakhs are engineers. Equal numbers of other doctors, dentists, lawyers, CAs. So all are professionally qualified. It's only 30-40% people who have done a normal graduation. And among those normal graduation, you are not the top one. Current young boys and girls, it's also good. Many of them decide very differently. I met a student who qualified civil service and didn't join. Because for him, to social work was more important. So today children are very different, not the type the earlier type. The opportunities are also many. You look at number of people starting their own companies. So while civil service is important, but this is not the last destination. If this is clear to you, that each one of you have something within you, and if you really work hard on it, you can be successful in any of the venture. If this confidence you have, if you understand the differences, you must set your goal. And I doubt any of you have had any consideration of this kind. When you decided to come to civil service, did you have any thinking of this nature? I don't want to dissuade you that don't come. I don't want to close their shop. But I want to bring those who are serious to them so that joining hand together, you do some good job. Otherwise, there is no point. If out of there, you are today about 600 boys and girls, if even 10% can't be selected, then this is not a good relationship. Is that correct? They owe to you as much you owe to them. So those who can work hard, Those who are ready to read more, because now you are reading very different things. So aptitude to read from the best places, not from multimedia. Don't ever plan for civil service to read through media. Through a good book, textbook, possibly. So if that is the situation, evaluate yourself. Take your time. There's no hurry that this year you start preparing, appear in the prelim. Who says? Why do you want to waste your time? You don't realize that make a first attempt, don't succeed, make second attempt, not succeed, the pressure builds on you. Is that right? Each failure will bring so much of pressure on you. That time neither the parents nor those who are your friends, they would say, we knew he can't do what he's doing. Parents will say, what is happening? 2 years we have supported you. If you happen to be a girl, they are worried about your marriage. If you happen to be a boy, they say, abhi kuch nahi karta hai. So these pressures, your motivation to begin with, become your demotivation once you are not successful in 2 times or 3 times. And then you think of pressure. So what is then the remedy? Remedy is commit 3 years. If you decided to come. If you can manage in 5 hours study, very good. If you cannot, do it 7 hours. If it is can't do further, do more. It depends on your individual capacity. Like for example, this gentleman possibly can read quickly and assimilate. Somebody would require 3 readings. So there is no thumb rule which would say you follow this. So first month, you have to evolve your own methods. Method has to be individual. Many of you probably don't remember, know that people who go at young age for JEE preparation in Kota, JEE is a center, and some people do commit suicide. You know who they are? It's not that they are not good students. It is the peer pressure. He talks to, say for example, 2 girls talk to each other. She says she is studying 9 hours. She finds she could study only 4 hours. Pressure builds. Without realizing that she required 9 hours, she required only 4 hours. But at that age, the young children are not with parents. There is nobody to talk to them, and they do this kind. In 2 such cases, when police inquired, they find out the boy nearby rooms of the boy, light used to be on throughout night. So he believed they studied throughout night. And he could not sustain and therefore come to suicide. So this peer pressure, you don't know how terrible it can be. Those who are preparing together, 2 qualify prelim, others don't. Then you think, maybe he was preparing with me, how can he be selected? So you not only develop a kind of abhorrism for him, you don't appreciate that maybe he has done better. Because your frame of mind is such. So the question with civil service comes, large in hard work, continuous reading, continuous effort. It cannot be one day 10 hours, other day 2 hours, not possible. If you have an engagement to a marriage or something to go, plan accordingly and do it. A continuous, regular work is a must. Without that, it's not possible. It's also true that multimedia has become part of us. But we also see that when you keep your phone here and study, and I know that you must have put in silence, but the subconscious mind keep looking at it. Kab iska. So develop a habit. If you decide to seriously prepare, put off your phone. Tell all your friends who call you, saying that you are available in these slots. You are not running a business. You are not pleading a criminal case, so nothing will happen. Only when a phone comes, you are gossiping with a friend. He is only passing one information. information which is relevant in the jokes and in civil service preparation. I'm not making you cut out of the system, but what I'm ensuring you that you are not distracted. You understand? Second that issue. When phone by your side, anybody from back? Do you realize when phone is in your pocket, mode vibration on, does it distract you? Many things are there to distract. For example, now the IPL is started. Big distraction. I also are very happy to look. So when I'm traveling, I keep on saying, what's the score? But I can afford, you cannot. Can you? Because your score is to be prelim in the main exam. That's your life. So some point of time, to achieve something in your life, you must forego few things. So those 3 years when you are seriously preparing, become regular, have a set calendar, and try to cut off from many things which will be hour to hour. I am not saying out of a 7 days, 1 day you can keep on entertainment. I have no problem on it. On Sunday you can go out, use your gossip, see a film, do whatever you want. Because that's important. You can't continue doing reading all the time, can you? You have to eat food. You have to talk to people. So there has to be slots of learning. I don't call them slots of studying, I call slots of learning. UPSC is not preparation, it is learning. Do you understand the difference between learning and studying? Learning is one which you assimilate and you are ready to explain. Studying, you are studying. Some would remain, some would not remain. So how do you convert your hours into learning hours? Anybody knows how to convert? Anybody knows? Nobody knows. But everybody knows this. So simple. Did you attend your classes in the university? What was your concentration? Best teacher. Your best teacher. I'm not talking about the useless teachers. A best teacher teaches what is your level of concentration? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. Raise hands. Who's have full period hour? Okay, half the period. When you were really serious. Okay, from our research we are clear, nobody has more than 20 minutes span of concentration. So now question is, we are studying 8 hours. Out of that, how many hours become the learning hours? You never tried this. So then make it a habit. What is the making a habit? Study 30 minutes, get off your chair, maybe wash your face, take water and come back. Don't call. Don't call at that time. So that the monotony is broken, your eyes are at rest, you come back. If you can come back within few minutes to the same topic, that means you are getting into now. Otherwise, take another 5 minutes for you to come back. So, break off half an hour. After half an hour, break off few minutes and quickly come into next. So, 1 hour become 50 minutes. It's an exercise. And if you don't do this, you don't concentrate. So, those who can concentrate, I assure you only require 6 hours. If you don't concentrate, any hours are not sufficient. And during study, learn to make your own notes. Because in the examination, you are going to write in your own language, in your own words. You are not going to repeat the words of the author of a book, will you? So what is the practice? From day one, read 15 minutes, close the book, reproduce. Good students start doing that within 10 days. It's a habit. For example, I normally would do when I was a young child. Whatever I do in a day before I sleep, I'll go through like a dream. So I can picturize everything what I did. You never do this. I can picture my class of class 3 and what did I do even today. And then you realize, where did you waste your time? What added the value? So at this point of time, your correct picturization of the day, and during the day, what did you study, recollecting in your mind? It's only exercise for 10 minutes. Because mind works so fast that your physical activity of one day can be finished in 5 minutes. That is called making sure that you understood what did you do the next day. And if you forget what did you do, you have to repeat the exercise. Nobody does this exercise ever? Okay. Third thing is a proper assessment. You read everything, you think you read. How do you assess you learned? Right? You can write. You can close for a while, write the third day. Because you have to retain it for a longer period. Today it might be okay. You remember and you wrote. Let the 3 days pass. Repeat again. So this repetitive tendencies and practices and approaches have to be built by individual. I cannot prescribe for you. I am only giving a general perception. I am only giving those difficulties which you face. Many times people ask me, sir, after reading I have no concentration. People ask this question. How many have this question in mind? That you left concentration? Mainly, most of it happens. And therefore I am suggesting you approaches. But they are not the prescription, they are not the formulae. You have to develop your own formula. Your transcript. Is that right? Okay, so this is your goal. Next is consider your strengths. And if you say hardworking is my strength, many times UPSC they ask you what are your strengths. Everybody will say same thing. How do you assess your strengths? You have to examine every day. You must understand what your strength truly. If you say, I am a hardworking, what is hardworking for you? Hardworking is one that you are ready to take the challenge in the work. Please come. You can sit down here. Okay? So you must develop each of your strengths very carefully. I can also tell you there is an ethical point here. We as a living human being who are a part of a system, when parents ask you, are you reading? You will say, हाँ जी, I am doing. You will say, are you working hard? You will say, yes sir. You must be honest to you. If within you know that you are not studied, but you have told your teachers and the parents that you are studying. The books are in front of you, but you are dreaming. The moment your dream starts, close the book. Go away from the desk. Sometimes you have romantic dreams, sometimes you have horrifying dreams. And at this age, more of the romantic dreams. It will happen, normal process. So 3 years you have to overcome them. I am not saying become saints, but you can become a yogi. Yogi is one with the foresightedness, work doggedly towards that, achieving that objective. Your objective is to qualify civil service. But I have already told you, mind you that civil service is not the end of life. Can it be end of life? If you are not selected after 6th attempt, what will you do? You will not kill yourself. You must therefore be open. If not after the first attempt, definitely after the second attempt. Look at in you. Is it good that I continue? Not that you continued and became failure, what the people will say. Forget it. You must assess yourself properly. There are stages. First year is not the stage, but second year failure is a stage. And third year is the time when you decide what to do. Don't get into the category where after 8-9 attempts you come to a point where what to do. This is the worst of career planning. And therefore the challenge in civil service. Most of the people who are professional studies, they go back to their profession. If you are a computer engineer, you will go to your job. If you are any engineer, you will go. You are a lawyer, go. But those who are in normal studies, what do they do? There are 3, 4, 5 routes available. Nothing to worry, no belittling. Firstly, think, if you are not selected in 3 attempts, the pressure will build so much that you will reach 30, 32. Because your energy comes down, social pressure keep on building, new younger people keep coming. And each day, the knowledge keep on changing. The history also remain differently. Maybe in one time history has been this topic in asked, next time something else would be asked. What is happening in the society will also impact the exam. General studies question can be. Till other time Chandrayaan was not there, but there will be a question on Chandrayaan. So, as you grow in number of years, you tend to believe that you are benefited, you are not. Your competition is more younger and of newer areas. So, it is not actually a complete repeat. And your pressure on you. So, my request to you and your mentors would be, please look at very carefully when you completed 2 years. And between 2 and 3, if you do lots of mock tests, and if you come in the category of 75% of your own assessment, not by any of the assessment, you take your attempt. Otherwise, the chances are almost zero. So, for all bright young people, age group of 21, you reach 25. There's the time, now you decide it's enough. Even if you become 28, 29, 30, 32 is maximum for general category, you will become joint secretary only. Secretary to banenge nahi. So you don't reach the peak. What is that you are looking for? And if you don't become an IAS, you become only, say, not even custom excise, you become postal department. Your being a lecturer would have been much better than there. You do a good PhD. You look at alternative arrangement, maybe look at new entrepreneurship. So that's the time. 25 is an age when you are peak of your energy. Maturity has come. You have seen the challenge. So I would urge each of you, when you are ready for the third attempt, you should be clear how far will you go. State public service commissions are one of the options. They are not bad options. None of the options available beyond civil service is a bad option. I have an example before you. I am not a IAS, became chairman. To become a professor in IIT is more difficult. When getting into BTech is so difficult, you can imagine becoming faculty, how difficult. And continue to rise. So when you are starting life at 32 or 36, if you are in OBC category, you start your life as 36. When I became a professor, full professor, you have lost 15 years already. So why do you take up that route where your years are lost? Please understand. Take another route, and equally important route is available. Each of you got a very hidden talent in you. In this preparation of 3 years would allow you to understand yourself. Can you really work hard? Can you really assimilate? Can you convince people by your presentation? So all this you would know. You are more mature than you were at 21. You can plan your career better. You start understanding the social pressure. So please take a pause when you are at the third attempt. And there's nothing wrong. I tell you there's nothing wrong. People might say you're not successful. It doesn't matter. How does it matter? In any case, if you are not selected, we select out the 6 lakh, only 1,000. 200 IS, 200 IPS, and about 100 class B. Why don't you become a state class 1? Why don't you become a lecturer in the university, which is class 1? Today, university professorship, you start as a lecturer with a PhD. You become professor in 10 years, which is the salary of the joint secretary, which he never gets even in IS. So there are so many alternatives available. Your attempts must be very serious. They must not waste your life. Definitely each of you must do state service. Even if you are selected, within 7, 8, 9 years you become class 1. That truth is there, everybody knows this. 1/3 of every year, IS from each state service become IS. It's a good number. Every year 12, your quota of number of seats in IS would be 8. You are now a small state. Am I right? You are not a big state like. So now there must be 6 seats. How many seats are there? 6 to 8. If you come to state service, 1/3 will be about the same number. So use your time properly, plan better, work hard. So far clear? Any questions? Then I go to the next stage. Any questions from anybody? How many are demotivated now? I didn't want to demotivate you, but knowing truth is always good. Somebody should not say, nobody told us it was so treacherous. So I'm now telling you it's so difficult. Difficult because you're not trained at all. Now compare some people who are coming to engineering. All these engineering boys and girls have gone through one competitive exam. You are aware of it? Even their study methods are different. They have to study to satisfy industry. And that's why currently people say it's because of me, but the fact is that they are better trained, they are successful. And they don't take engineering. They are taking same history, same geography, same political science, do better than MA students. That means it is an approach, the method by which you prepare. So the next question, how do you prepare? How do you prepare? You have to draw a line. How do you prepare? You have to have a calendar. You have to finish those things reading. Not in the classroom. I am talking about your own time. Classroom learning is only preparing you to learn faster. If you are learning yourself, you would require material from anywhere. So you will spend time to search it out. What your colleagues do, your training school, they allow you the material available to you. And they also deliver in the class. Because many of you have not taken those subjects in your graduation. If, for example, you were a BA history student, in what they teach here, it will be same syllabus. Any history student here? You also attend classes here? Anybody who attend class of this subject? What subject you teach here, sir? Anybody political science student? Graduation? You also study here. Is it different? Do you find syllabus to be different? So that means what you study then, you've forgotten. So time you spend is like again in the class. While with their help, you would have only preparing yourself. Civil services, self-learning. And they require to give you material, the techniques and the tools to do it faster and better. The difficulty is that all engineers also want to do political science. For them, teaching is required. But those who are in political science, it's the same syllabus. Then you use their time to improve those gaps which they were. So you are not identifying the gaps, your weak areas, and seek remedy of that from them. Probably we have one session with them to identify their weaknesses, because many a time it is the weakness which keep on bothering you. You are solving a problem and you suddenly can't solve further. You at that point of time want somebody's assistance so that you solve. So that gap is there. So in your learning process, identify gaps in your learning and quickly get the solution. Don't wait too long. If today you are solving problem, you find difficulties, you have made your best effort, must first make best effort. If doesn't happen, talk to your friend if he is good. Otherwise, go to your tutor. If you don't do that, you have actually delayed it. So those candidates who can identify their gaps and weaknesses and seek remedy from the learning groups, they are the most successful. Otherwise, class is same. If you find that this answer by your thinking is not coming, go and talk to them. Maybe in the class raise that question. How many questions you raise in the class is a measure of your understanding, in your desire to learn. One of the failure of Indian university education is students don't ask questions, teachers don't encourage them. In the world today, nobody teaches the subject. Are you aware of this? A new word has come called flipped class. Flipped class is one which is like for you. All material is available with you. That I am going to teach you in this subject, in this hour, this material is with you. 1 week in advance. All of you come prepared after reading it. And only ask questions so that any doubts and gaps remained can be quickly settled. If he repeats the same text, it doesn't help. So those candidates who are in civil service, all kinds of questions should come to their minds. Not for prelim, for the main, even for the timetable, the activity. Raise questions, and get solution quickly. And then you would know that your learning become better. Other point is written methods. In the exam you have to write. At least the main. Prelim you have to tick. I'll come back to that. In the main examination you have to write. UPSC is a central body, so nobody knows you come from Hyderabad or your identity is hidden. Examiner will also be one of the best in the country. He has to be a professor. So it's not required that he will be Usmania, it could be any other university. But doesn't debar Usmania. We had a lot of experts from Usmania and other places. Now, what is the best communication in writing? When you are the writer and you are also an examiner. So write and answer yourself and read it. Have you done it? And grade it. Give marks. How many have done this practice? If you do this practice, you would be within 80 to 90% correctness. Now, what is involved in this? Let me explain. You write something, you think you have written the best, but the way you wrote, examiner is going to read many of them. He must understand what have you written. So first requirement is he should be able to understand what you want to tell him. If I am speaking to you, if I can't influence some of you, then it's useless. So linking your writing with his thought is an essential requirement. That means you must write legibly so that he can read. Imagine his difficulty. Each of your handwriting is different. Your style is different. Some of you make mistakes in grammar. Look at the teacher who is now checking copies. Do it sometime. He writes and you check. She writes and you check. Then you realize. Sometimes you keep on asking how the examiners do. It is simple. He is such a difficult task. These are not his students. In the university exam, they are his students. Some of you know, even recognize handwriting. But here everybody is different. They come from different state. They use different language. In terms of even writing English, they write differently. So, read clearly, read legibly, read in simple language, in which he can directly understand. There is no need to have a long sentence. Longer the sentence, more syntax will come, and more confusion will come. So if you can express your views, so when you can write simple sentence, when you understand the subject, and you can prioritize that this point is the best, write that point first. So that he knows, the boy or a girl knows what he is going to say. If you start something from the bottom and come to the peak point of the last, you'll have more time. So strategy is simple. Write simple, short sentences, clearly, best the best first. This you have to do a practice. Because the kind of questions now in UPSC asked, in partly I am the culprit. We have already fixed the space in which you have to give to answer. Before I was chairman, this was not there. Now question is written in the top, answer is to be written. You have shown the sample copy to them. That means each question has a limit. So there might be 20 points, but limit would allow you only few points. That means you can write precisely. A bureaucrat does not like history and geography and romantic story. It is a decision in a short time. So the exam itself has now been designed for you that you give the best. And I also can give you a story why I came to this conclusion. In one of the essay, candidate wrote 30 pages and he got 0. Lots of people ask me, Chairman, UPSC does not look at any copy, nor he look at question papers. He is not aware. There was so much of pressure from the top of the president asking, kindly have a look once. And believe me, I was convinced that he even didn't deserve 0. So the way you write is more important. There has to be content, there has to be clarity, there has to be systematic way of doing it. Otherwise, you don't get marks. There is no requirement by UPSC. People keep on asking, what does UPSC look at? What UPSC would look? They like to look at the best answer. And told clarity. I already told you difficulty of a teacher. Since I've been a professor myself, I know how difficult it is when you check 30 copies. So what will happen? After 2 copies, you will look at key points in the question. If those key points are there, he'll give you marks, or they'll not give you marks. It's simple as that. नहीं आपको लगता है? नहीं है तो कभी अपने younger brother sister की copy check करके देखिए. Then you realize. So things are simple. You pretend you don't know. You pretend because you don't work hard. And since you opted to come to a service where this competition is like this, Where is an option with you? There is no option. So main exam, read from good books, use data from the sources which are authentic, never from the media. Don't quote newspapers. You might read it, double check it, look at the figures. Only authentic sources must be utilized. Data is important to build up your case. So it's not saying if in the class, if I try to judge, the girls here are 60% have a height of 4.5 inches. If that's my thesis, I should be able to prove it. So that's why data is so important. So don't shy away from data. Data is to be correct, sources to be correct, which can be quoted without any difficulty. So book which is used in Andhra must also be accepted to Delhi University boys and girls. So data must be corrected. Answer must be clear to the point given in the paragraph written. Don't. So this practice has to go on and on. And there's no shortcut. Qualifier exams must be cleared first. One of the enemy is the language. For example, if you take English and Telugu, many of you have not written Telugu for quite a long time. How many of you regularly write Telugu? But you have to qualify exam. You know everything. So the first thing is, first do essay regularly. Essay has to be done regularly. One essay per week. And if you qualify prelim, the remaining means to prepare only through questions. So for example, those who are going to prepare, we are in month of March. Those who are starting in August, they will start with main. In December, start with prelim. Except the CBSE books from 9th to 12th must be looked in areas of political science, social science, economics, history and geography. Because many of you have not been doing that for a long time. That must be done as soon as you join. So if you start in August, read those books, complete in 15 days, 20 days, and understand these are the concepts. NCERT books, CBSE books, including your own books, are the concept books. Half the constitution questions which come in UPSC come from those questions which are taught in 10+2. You have forgotten, you are not a serious student. That's my problem. Many of you are not how many of you are in the 12th standard above 90 percentile? Raise hands. Very few. In Delhi University, if you want to get admission in St. Stephen College, nothing less than 96 percentile. So there is a very difference of the quality of effort. Now, if he has that quality, you have to compensate now. I'm not saying you can't compensate, you can, but you have to work hard. You must understand that working hard to compensate some of your limitations of the past has to be done. Then there is always 80% rule, 80-20. 80% must be in the best, 20% can relax. It's not always 100%. So continuous writing, reading good books, making your notes, revising that after time. Read yourself, rewrite again. You could see a lot of improvements come. Speed of writing, in writing correctly, legibly and clearly. Nothing else. But you have to do it. No way. I can help you in it. Okay, lastly is the prelim. Prelim got 2 papers now. Paper 2 is a qualifier. Marks would be 35, 40 only. But you have to qualify that. So why not prepare that first? Actually, this paper is nothing to be studied. Many students who come from good institutions actually don't prepare for it. How many of you seen the second paper CSET? Do you find something to be read about it? It's only for those who are not taking interest. People like us who grew in our lives. For example, I doubt any of you read newspaper daily. How many of you? No. I started reading newspaper when I was 6th standard. Continued every day. So for me, anything in this society comes automatically. Obviously, younger days, people read vernacular, so you might read a paper in Telugu or read in English. Now, this is one method of keeping yourself aware what is happening around. In this around knowledge is being converted to sub-questions in prelim. Chandrayaan is not a textbook material, is it? Not yet. But this is happening. You also remember that every year we celebrate number of days. For example, what is called as the Environmental Day. Which day is that? If you look at newspaper 1 week before and 3 days later, the material which is published is more than what you require. That's why newspaper in one magazine is so critical. Firstly, you come to know different words, your vocabulary improves. You come to know how things are written. You also come to know quality of learning. So if you are not doing that regularly, many people can't read a newspaper either. How many of you are in the habit of reading newspaper? And how do you do it? Everybody has a different approach. Can somebody tell me, if he reads a newspaper, how does he go around? Yeah, you want to stand up and say? You just read the headline, then you have to read also. Then go to business page, and then editorial. Then I can tell you what a young man would do normally. Each young man, boys and girls, are interested in page 3 first. Sports and films next. Some who are inclined towards finance, business page. 90% of young people don't read business page. But for those who are aspiring in IS, it is important to read business. Because Indian economy is a critical point. First page is only party politics. It doesn't help. Even if you don't read it, doesn't matter. Editorial is only a comment on major event which has occurred last day. That's it. So the best courses start reading from the point which you like most. For example, I start my newspaper from the back, from the sport. I do that even now. Because that interests me. No mind is required, you statistics in it, and you take your interest, know about the method. So it builds hobbies depending on. If you are interested in cooking, look at the page for cooking. If you are interested in sports, look at sports. If you are interested in music and drama, look at that. So that fills up. Then there are information about books published and their reviews. Read them. If you are not able to read a book, at least you know a book published. In a review, you know what is given. Reading variety of books for a civil servant is required. That's why you built up your essay. It's not that you can write essay otherwise. You have to read a lot of information. Magazine, editorial of the books. So newspaper per day is a must. And use that newspaper whose language you can understand. Many people read Hindu, but they write the way they write. Many people don't follow it. So why do you read? You can read some other simple newspaper. Maybe Hindustan Times, maybe Times of India. And ultimately, it is not the editor view, it is your view on a given topic. So if you read many of them, your view can be built. So by only reading one will not help. So your difficulty is read, read, read and read more. If you can do it for 3 years, you are good. There are negative marks in the prelim. Each negative mark is a killer. When 6 lakh students, merit is made out of 200 marks, even 0.5 marks will be out. So don't answer when you are not sure. It is when you are sure that is the correct answer, please attempt. You have to improve the correct answers numbers more and more as you go. That means solve as many questions as you would in a different manner. Degree of difficulty in UPSC is normally high. There can be a question where they would say out of 4, which is number 1, which is number 2. That's more difficult. Eliminate you can, but now eliminations are few. In sub questions are made not from textbook but by daily life. G20 was a big event, question can come. Chennai floods was big event, question can come. So Supreme Court judgments are there. So anybody can lead science developments, solar energy, pollution. Now, these are so common in current technology, the current policy of government, Atmanirbhar. All that can make questions to your prelim. India relations. So it is not a textbook there. Everyday reading, converting in into a question can also. My general guess is 20 to 25% question based on what happened in the year around you in 1 year time. 30% will be concept, rest will be reading. But conversion into newspaper into or magazine into question would be 20 to 25%. I think I'll end, if you permit. Any questions? If I'm open to it now. Any questions? Anything you can ask. Can I? Yes. And don't hesitate. Your name? Name, face them. Plan? Yes. I had done that. In fact, the first part of my lecture was only that. No. Before that, I've already spoken. Probably later I said what should be done and how to be done. Yeah. I believe that you first assess yourself. I also said what are the challenges before you decide that this becomes your own goal. And I said each candidate has a different methods of learning. Accordingly, they have to plan. Their backgrounds are different. If you know a subject better, you might require lesser time, other may maybe more. So each one draw your calendar based on your strengths. It's important. And adhere to it, I said regularly. Don't always think of 10 hours. Think at least 5 hours of regular. I said learning. I didn't say study. And I also differentiated. Study is so different than learning. Study seriously, which you can assimilate, is a learning. So you can keep a book for 6 hours and blank here. That's not reading. So it doesn't help calendar at all. And build your calendar slowly. Because you're coming to university examination, your learning for 1 hour is not required. Now I require 5 hours. You can't build that in one go. It'll take 1 month at least. So I explained everything. Have I? I thought I explained that. Any follow-up question? It's not helping you or? That's how it has to be dynamic. It will. It will. And that's what your capability is. No shortcut. Absolutely no shortcut. I agree. Something you want to do it next day. Bring back in the calendar. Stretch. Motivate. There is no shortcut to working hard. Absolutely. Accept. Any other question? Anybody from backside? Yeah, come up front. Those who want to ask question, I'll take 5 questions. I'll expect 3 girls going to ask me, 2 boys already asked. So next 3 girls, please come and stand. Yeah, please face them, tell your name.
Journey from an ordinary person to UPSC chairman, it's not an ordinary thing. It was great indeed. Nobody can think of. So can you please share your journey with us? Really inspirational. So question number 2, sir. So many people are preparing for the UPSC, but some days they're debating. So 1 or 2 months they're preparing, but some days they're debating from it. So how can you be the debater? How can you be without debating? And third question, sir. So in this journey, there's many students are preparing across India. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stress. Because many people preparing for UPSC from below or ordinary people, so lower background people. So how can they overcome? So a lot of pressure is there in their mind. So how can they overcome all the pressure? So to reach the goal, it's a lot of practice and dedication. So the long journey. So what are the steps to be taken to be with the confidence, to be with the same motivation to achieve the last?
I thought the last 2 questions I've actually touched. Let me revise for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You can sit down wherever you want. First question is not as relevant. You can read about me, but I can answer. Next 2 questions are relevant, though I always try to address them. Firstly, please understand, there is no poor background. We are looking at students who are academically ready to accept challenge. Today, information available, material available is not too expensive that it hinders you if you come from a weaker section. Please understand. Also understand that I had come from deep interior village and could go to the top. Each of you can do that. There is no hindrance your way. I have already said, set your goals. If you are a candidate who come from poor background, you should be more motivated to become successful because you want to do something not only to you, but to society in which you lived. You want to upbring your own status in the public eye. So as far as the motivation is concerned, I always found it to be very good with those who come from lower middle class and middle class people. Because they want to prove to people that you can do it. So the motivation is not an issue. The second issue is that as a young mind, it always occurs. I am very motivated for some time. I become demotivated for some time. This is a normal corollary. When it happens, you stop for a day. You just stop. Rethink what you have been doing. What is that which is not making you enjoy? So it is the enjoyment which is important. I am reading a book, say for example, on British rule in India, history student. It will run about 30-40 pages. Topic is large. And I notice that I am not getting interested. You have to understand why are you not getting interested. In that time, you must come to your friends or a tutor to understand, have a dialogue. A verbal communication at that time is a must. And you must be very open to say, what is that is bothering you. The difficulty comes when you don't share you with anybody. आपको लगता है, you will feel that he'll make a joke out of you. In this travel journey, you have to have some companion in friends. Make friends, have time to discuss with them, sit together, have a cup of tea, and sometimes makes yourself enjoy. The moment you feel fatigued, you just stop. Go to a park, go to the nature, do it. Don't think you are wasting time. When you go on a walk, look at people around you. Look at the trees which are there, the types. Look at the people behavior. So each moment become learning with enjoyment. So those who are getting demotivated, they must start learning to enjoy. So if you plan your study in such a manner, my friend says, it is not the calendar which is important. It is not the end which is important. What is important? Did you enjoy? And if you enjoy today, tomorrow you are ready to again learn. So each new day, you have to talk to yourself, say, look, I have done so well. I can do it. Now these are some positive things which you have to do. Just come out of your place. Whenever you get bored, come out of your place. Leave your books there. Go roam around, come back. I told you so. You remember in our homes, we are there studying. Sometime mother would call, say, ye kaam kar lao. They will ask you, so and so, please go and do it. Now, this itself is a habit that if you are studying and your mother urgently wants something to be done, you go and you come back and start from there immediately. Now, this practice I learned when I was a young student. If my mother said, now it has to be gone, please go and guests are coming, get this thing quickly, I won't tell her that I am studying. I would go, come back and start from there. But we don't do these simple things. We'll tell mother I am studying. She knows that you are studying. She's in emergency, therefore she's asking. Now those boys and girls who accept these things, their motivation become much better. Real things of the life have to be done. If you have to travel by bus, you have to spend 1 hour on the bus, you jolly well do this. But how do I utilize that 1 hour? At least I utilize 15 minutes out of it. You plan. So motivation and demotivation are only for those who think civil service is the end. For me, nothing is an end. You just wait. Life will give you the best. Very simple, absolutely simple. I have seen boys and girls, they will not, माँ को बोलेंगे, please get me चाय पीने मुझे. You can go yourself in the kitchen. You are a BA student now. Why should your mother cook tea for you? Do few things yourself. These are simple things you must enjoy. I never learned cooking, but I enjoy cooking. Because there's the time, everything is so simple. आपको कुछ सब्जी काटनी है, you have to cut it, put it in the fire, put some masala and enjoy. So diversify your activities. Something which is interesting. If you are too bored, you want to listen to good music, do it. Don't wait. If you are too unhappy, read some Want to look at some good film which entertain you, do it. Don't keep postponing your sorrows for too long. Find remedies immediately. Solutions are there. You have to just pinpoint. And then at that time, don't waste other time. You do your activity, come back, try again. For example, World Cup was happening, Cricket World Cup. There would be nobody who will not be interested. Do it. Compensate later. हिंदी में people कहते हैं मन मत मारिए. Don't kill your own self. Civil service does not mean you are killing yourself. Civil service preparation is enjoyment to improve your personality. It is known those who have qualified means and gone to interview, their knowledge base becomes so good that in any career they do very well. So each learning is benefit for you. You don't know this. When I talk with you, is my learning as I sat in various boards. Each candidate adds value to us. So each moment, if it's a learning for you, you really will enjoy. I assure you that. Don't take it as a serious business. Seriousness when you are studying. Rest time, relax. Take a good bath, dress well. Many candidates while preparation will not shave, will not take bath. Look smart, Baba. It might happen a young girl can come around. I always believed in my life, dress well, look pleasant. How much time you can smile? It's so difficult to find people who can smile. Since he asked me my life journey, I don't know how many of you have gone to market to buy vegetables every day. Current parents do not do that, na? They go themselves. From my 6th standard till I went to IIT, I bought vegetable every day. Now it's not, the learning out of it is, I tell you what's the learning. Learning is simple. When you buy, you want to choose the best. नहीं तो घर में डांट पड़ेगी. Mother will say you are a useless fellow. So you learn to talk to people and negotiate and get the best in the cheapest. Now this is a virtue technique to talk. Things have changed. I know things have changed. You can order online half the things. But this was one learning. Reading newspaper was another learning. We were told to learn books when I was even younger. Similar time. We used to have small books on different topics. We learned. I don't know whether you heard a publisher called Gita Press Gorakhpur. Have you heard this name? They awarded Prime Minister with some award. Prime Minister awarded him with the Gandhi Award. Though it was not meant for it, but what does they do? They bring out small books on Ramayana, Mahabharata. And my learning of original Ramayana, Mahabharata is not by Tulsi Ramayana, but from them. Because they would have very beautiful pictures, big words, in story, in short. So I want to learn how Lord Krishna had, as a young boy, a number of victories. That's how the method of learning. But today, if you want to learn, you can use a mobile and learn. But you don't do that. So you must learn. Double check facts. So you more rely on WhatsApp, you rely more on YouTube material. But in YouTube material, you also don't realize that there are women who come from villages and telling you how to prepare those foods of their area. So you should know what information collect. Things have changed now. You don't walk. How many of you walk every day? 2 kilometers? Hardly. You should walk. I always advise people who prepare for civil service a regular walk between 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. in a park where you can see a lot of people. There are a lot of vendors outside parks. Have you noticed? You could also look at the kind of tastes people involved, the kind of people who are coming to buy. I will give you one example. When I was chairman, I live in the best place in Delhi. This place called Subhanam Bharti Marg, called Lodi Estate. I had a big bungalow, 1.5 acre. Nearby me is the biggest park of Delhi. So every morning I'll go walk, and every evening also. One day, when I was on a vacation day, I went on a lunch time. The crowd in the morning time, the crowd at lunch time, and the crowd at the evening time was so different. And I learned few things, and I give you a learning. When I went to lunch time, most of these people were from the cluster areas of poor section, Juggi Jopis. But that's the only time the women find time to go out. Morning they go out and work, evening they go out go for work, so they bring their children to play. There was another crowd of young boys and girls of 9th to 11th standard coming from government schools and sitting together and gossiping. Do you find it strange? It's one of the posh park. Morning time, all bureaucrats will come. Evening time, business, politician, bureaucrats will come. Middle time, the middle class people come. And the kind of crowd, women who worked in home, young boys and girls who don't find time. Then one day I tried to understand why it happens. I realized that those boys and girls who come at that time, school is over, before go home. The homes are only one room. Where will they meet? So I came to understand the society dynamics around me. So a lot of learning occurs. And that adds to your personality. So some questions when asked on personality questions that can you explain what happened in Hyderabad? You try to remember it, learn it. Well, it should come automatically. When I was doing my PhD, my supervisor one day told me his hobby. Very interesting hobby. He said he takes a bus from this station, go to the last station and come back. And this he does by change. So 1 week he has gone this route, second this route, third. Now on the route, his habit was to look at the boards. Shop, you will see. Now what it allows you to do. First he knew what kind of routes, then he knew what kind of shops are there, what materials being sold, what kind of people coming. He is only sitting in the bus. Ticket was small. So who stops you not to ride a bus? But you won't do that. I was meeting with your sir and he was amazed that I know so much about Hyderabad. But that's all I do. When I come to Agrawal, look around the street, look around names of street, look at shops, pick up few words here and there. So learning for civil service every day is a must. In that 1 hour gives you lots of value. Okay? Now 2 questions from girls. You want to ask? The girl there. Please come. Good. I think it's a very beautiful question. She's asking how to avoid unnecessarily material. And that's why luckily you are with them. They only helps you to relevant material and use the best books recommended by the library, by your university. That's it. Material on internet does not help. So avoid the material on the internet. Read a good magazine. Don't read. For example, India Today is an authentic information. Similarly, there are two other magazines which are published from South. One by Hindu itself and Frontline. Now, these are not irrelevant material. So, it is important, she is very right, it is important to identify the right material. And I would request both of you, please let students know which are the sources of material which they study. It's a good question. Thank you. Any second question? So please draw a list of good material in the area when you study. Ji, please come. I wish to become a bureaucrat. I believe that I am bringing ethics paper and aptitude purely to sensitize you that your responsibility to society is large. See, corruption is an element which creeps in slowly. It comes out of desires. You earn a certain amount of money, you want more and more. So you have to understand these things. Sometimes pressure also let people do few things. I think as you will grow, I never faced that problem. I've been so lucky in my life that I had no dilemma ever. Just to give an example, when I was director of the first Indian Institute for Information Technology, first time in the country, I was to make all selections. I decided not to select anybody from my caste. In 6 years I was, nobody with my affiliation will ever be selected. Even the best. I would say, I won't take you, but I'll help you to get elsewhere. So there are a few things we have to decide. For example, came to my official work. When there was a construction, nobody will approach my house. Institute was built. We spent 35 crores in many years ago. Never. No Thekadar will come to my home. He will not meet me. There are layers of people keep meeting. So you have to draw lines. Corruption does not come like this. Corruption, you bring it yourself. If your salary is 2,000, you spend 3,000, 1,000 to come from somewhere. Even on Diwali mithais, lots of gifts come to you. You become used to the initially looks fine after it's a festival time. But slowly you start aspiring for it. This Diwali you got 10 packets of mithai. Next 15 must come. 30 must come. So that desire should not occur. Otherwise there is no big ticket corruption in this country. There is small corruption. Big tickets are done by big people, not by bureaucrats. That I can tell you. Yeah. Your confidence, your good writing, discrimination, in your own personality, your new ideas. If your knowledge is kept by new ideas, this gives you better results. Okay, I think I must thank you all now. Thank you, friends. Okay, one more question. Come. I spoke to Sir. That recording is available. You can listen to it. I explained that in great details. Firstly, there is no mathematics. There is no maths. You have done high school. In high school, you have mathematics. It's only that. People have frightened you unnecessarily. These are only numbers and manipulation. Nothing else. So simple. Okay, thank you very much.
So thank you very much, sir. For today's session, the entire activity is being recorded. The thumbnail for this YouTube has also been decided. YA Savalate Park Kelal. Before I saw him as a chairperson of the UPSC, I was considering him only as a CSAT, father of CSAT. And then when I saw him today in the morning while getting down from the car, he was looking like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And during his talk, I was seeing a person, Yash. Who is this Yash? Rakhi Bai. He was like a Rakhi Bai. Why he is Rakhi Bai is because he is KGF. He is like a Kolar goldfield. And his suggestions are gold mine. And you can keep these suggestions forever and for the next generations also. All the best. Thank you very much, sir.